Right, hello and welcome to Forever Sports, and it is Varsity Cup season, and I'm very lucky to be joined by a former Varsity Cup player, now playing his try with the Cheetahs, Gideon van der Merwe, to chat a little bit about the Varsity Cup and his rugby career, and a big shout out to NPL. As part of our Varsity Cup campaign, we are chatting to some of the former players about their experience with the Varsity Cup and exactly how it is a pipeline to professional rugby. First of all, Gideon, thank you so much for giving me your time, and how are things and how's training going and everything?
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me. It's been tough. We've basically been in a bit of a pre-season since our last game overseas against Oyena. Having a pre-season here in Bloem, it's 35 degrees, so it's tough. But we're almost at the end.
Yeah, a very interesting concept to have a pre-season kind of mid-season. Sort of that sort of start and beginning of the end of the seasons must be quite different. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. But before I want to go into that and what's happening now, I wanted to throw you right back to the beginning of your career, because it's safe to say you haven't had the most orthodox sort of journey into where you are now. So can we start right at the beginning? I believe went to school in Potchefstroom, and sort of from school to playing for Pucker, where did it all begin, and sort of what was the kind of journey to Varsity Cup?
So like you said, bred there in Potchefstroom, and I got a bursary. Malaysian Tetwa offered me a bursary to go play there. Basically just started there from under 19. When it was still the Puck, started playing there under 19 levels. Onto Young Guns, Varsity Cup Young Guns, under 21 with the connection with the Puck and the Leopards, so under 21 Leopards and Currie Cup there, and then from 2016 started at a first glimpse of Varsity Cup, but I got an injury I think in early part of the season, so I just thought I had a bit of a taste with it, and then only got back at end of 2017. Basically just climbed the ladder there at university. And then 2019, after the Varsity Cup season, I got a call to come join the Griquas. Obviously accepted, had a wonderful stint there till end of 2021. And was very happy to get the call from the Cheetahs, from Alvis and them. So and so far just been enjoying it here at the Free State.
Yeah, I think very interesting, as you said, going from, Potch obviously a very good rugby university, but the Leopards sort of playing sort of Super Sport Challenge and sort of Premier Division, so it's not necessarily known as a rugby powerhouse from a professional point of view. So, what was your experience, getting involved in sort of the young guns and stuff, and knowing that Varsity Cup, which was relatively established by the time you got there, was sort of a genuine avenue to something more?
Well, the Young Guns was great. I think luckily now they, like you said, they were established. They at that time we only played, the Young Guns weren't fortunate enough to play an entire season. They were played in divided into parts. I think we played like 3 or 4 games maximum, and then I think the top guy in the pool would play semi-final, final, and stuff. So it was a shorter competition, but it was nice to getting started there. It gave you that just bit of a start to play that type of rugby, and it was nice.
And sort of the university environment. The big thing, obviously, before sort of Varsity Cup happened, people would go to university, they'd play rugby, but maybe not sort of the professional extent it is now. Now we're seeing coaching staff, and teams of people behind. What's this? Give us a bit of an insight. What's the environment like when you start at Potch, for example, and you're within the younger setup and that sort of group? What's the kind of environment like compared to, say, for example, the school environment, which is also very professional these days, but obviously would have been quite different back then?
No, it's very professional. I haven't been back at the HPI and everything there since they've changed it. They've actually they've revamped the entire setup there. It's actually even bigger and larger than NW at the moment. So, but you've got everything there. Some of the top facilities, and you've got world class coaches there as well. I mean, if you look back on all the coaches they've got Robert Dupree, Jonathan McQueen, they've got great coaches there that take you under your wing. So when you get there, it's what's the word, like you feel over in over your head. Everything is so massive, and you get there. It's you start with lots of tests, and you as a schoolboy aren't used to that. So it's fitness tests, strength tests here and there, and then preseason it just starts accelerating, and you have to quickly find your feet. And just you get that notice and say, yes, you gotta raise the bar here and start. You actually in a professional kind of a setup. So it's kind of tough, but nice in the same way.
And when you started at university, was professional rugby always the goal, or was this kind of, I've got an opportunity, I can get myself a degree, get myself a qualification, and whatever kind of happens with rugby on the way happens? Or were you quite determined that when you arrived, no, this was the career you wanted to try and sort of carve out for yourself?
Yeah, no. So so it started. Every boy has a dream that if you want to play rugby, you want to play at the highest level. So it started when obviously with the bursary and stuff. You think, okay, I didn't get a contract after Craven Week to play at a professional union. Like the Bulls, Cheetahs, and whichever, and so then you go university, Varsity Cup. Okay, that's my next step. And then you just think, okay, well, let's get it, try and get a degree. Obviously, you need to, you have to bring yourself options, get yourself a lot of options. So and then it starts by trying to be the best when you get there, try to be the best player at the pick or at your level, and start climb the ladder somewhere. So you do have the dream to go to a professional union, to play Super Rugby, to play URC, and then you just need to.
And is there like almost a sort of sense, because obviously now, especially that a lot of universities align themselves with the unions, and you have a lot of, for example, Lions players playing for your Wits and your UJs. Is that sort of sense of, you need to now prove yourself against these players who maybe did get contracts straight out of school, and they're kind of, affiliated with the provincial unions already, and it's almost sort of a sense of you now need to prove that you're not only on the same level as them, but you can actually outplay them. Was that quite a big driving factor for you?
Yeah, definitely. So, like you said, playing against UJ and Wits, obviously Tuks, where a lot of the Tuks players are young, junior level bull contracted players. So when you're playing against those guys, you obviously see, I can try and compete on this level, and it kind of brings the best out of you. And it's about any tough kind of competition will definitely bring the best player, the best out of you. So it definitely drives to that, and plays a big part for that. Yeah.
Right, and then was there a moment? I always like to ask people, like, was there a moment, either in a game or in a season, was there a moment where you suddenly felt that you're performing at this level, that actually that you can do this, that you can play at a high level, that you can actually make breakthrough? Was there that sort of defining moment, and sort of how did you sort of go from there to then actually making that next step?
Well, it came a bit later for me. So at the Varsity Cup, when I started playing Varsity Cup 2016, then I felt like, obviously with the type of pre-seasons you have, it is tough, and you get to a physical level that you can feel like, wow, I can definitely have an impact, and I can provide an impact. So in the games, when you started playing, then you feel fit, you feel strong, and now you're playing against players that like a Bulls contracted player who's playing Varsity Cup, and you feel, I'm definitely at this level. So it does come a point where you feel like, this is a turning point. This is where I can make a mark and put your name out there.
Right, so then you then get a contract to go to the Greek quiz, which not a traditional rugby powerhouse in the country, but always sort of known as a side that sort of punches above its weight. What's that kind of environment as well like? I mean, not, but a lot of people sort of think about these unions as places where players who swim is like yourself maybe didn't go the traditional route, type thing, and also and sometimes it's kind of a combination of players looking for that stepping stone, and sometimes players whose careers maybe start off really well, faded off, haven't made it unions, they kind of find themselves. What's the kind of environment like? A lot of players who are probably all feeling that they need to try and prove themselves at the next level.
So there is a mixture of players there, like you said. There is some bit of all the players that got sent there for get a bit of game time, or like not cutting it completely at the bigger unions like the Bulls or whatever. So there are players that get sent there, not to try revive their careers or whatever, and then you get a lot of Varsity Cup stars joining the Greek ones. And now I've just been checking this year as well. They've got a lot of talent there at the moment as well. So the Greekos and Pumas as well, like you said, two unions that punch above their weight. They also try and become also a bit more of a force to reckon with in the to try and get to the bigger unions, get a better competition and everything. And they're starting to get noticed, I think, for me.
Yeah, look, I think the defining moment is obviously the Greek was Pumas Currie Cup final, which was so cool to see from a South Rugby perspective. But you mentioned that sort of getting to the bigger unions, and maybe even to a certain degree, people now, want to try and find any way to sort of put themselves, out there. Do you almost sort of feel when you're playing for the Greeks, for example, and you play against a Bulls or a Storm and stuff like that, or even just the entire Currie Cup campaign, do you kind of feel just sort of trying to put yourself in that shopping window, trying to sit there saying, listen, I'm here, if you're looking for your URC squads and stuff like that, I'm ready for that level?
There have been a couple of games we're playing against Greekers, and they're playing Bulls at Loftus, and we've won games there. We've played playing Lions, and it's always like you're going to this thing like you're the underdog, like you have that underdog mindset and mentality. So you kind of want to go in there and give them a surprise or a shock or whatever. You're going there, all guns blazing, if you can say it like that. They say the most dangerous thing is the underdog. So They always know they're going to bring a fight. So I think it's tough if you're a bigger union and you're going to play against the Greekers. I think the best thing to do is never underestimate them.
Yeah, especially in Kimberley, which everybody talks about being one of the toughest places to play in the country. Before we go into the sort of the Cheetahs journey, so you now sort of made it in that sort of space. So what would your advice be to a young player who maybe doesn't get a contract, for example, doesn't even maybe get a scholarship, but believes that they can play at that level? What advice would you give them in terms of looking at the Varsity Cup as that stepping stone, as that opportunity to get that exposure?
Yeah, I think definitely give it a try. Like you get a lot of people that studying is not for me, and obviously you need to study to play Varsity Cup. So you get a lot of people say, I just want to play rugby. I study. I won't be able to study or whatever. I think there has to be a moment that you have to make that decision. It will definitely better you as a person and as a rugby player, because it's going to bring the best out of you. It's going to challenge you physically, mentally. But I think that is a great route to choose instead of just trying to get a trial at a union, because there's so many players at unions at junior level at that moment. So if you're not one of that players that get contracted out of junior level, so definitely a great route to take for Varsity Cup. And try to take the road from there. So I would definitely encourage it.
And I mean, you've been involved, you've gone on the road, you've gone to Varsity Cup games, you're part of that sort of vibe. And it's amazing how, at times we've seen bigger crowds at Varsity Cup games than you do at sometimes provincial and Currie Cup games. What do you think the role of Varsity Cup is within South Africa, not only just from a player point of view, but just to sort of grow rugby as a product? Because it's so, for the casual fan who mostly watched as, the 12 Springbok games a season. All of a sudden, you're now at a university where you've kind of got a bit of an affinity to that team. You can go and watch the person you're going to lectures with. Those are fellow students, stuff like that. What is that kind of sort of that relationship you have with, or that people have with the Varsity Cup, where you've kind of got that almost sort of tribalism of that's my university, that's my mate playing, and that kind of thing.
Brings, it's fantastic. I mean, it kind of supports this, they got the idea with the college teams, NFL, like an NFL college, and there's just the amount of, it brings fun, it brings, it's got this sort of character towards it, it's energetic, and obviously students can have a joy watching the games, and like you said, people you're studying with, lectures, and people come and watching the game, and it's grown so much over the past couple of years. I can just say it's also a place where they test new rules that they want to implement in the game from Soro's perspective, and it's actually fantastic, the amount of young players, and actually, if you can look, Springboks they've brought up. So I think it just speaks for itself, the impact it has on South African rugby.
Right. So you talked about sort of step ups, as an example. You go to Greek because you're playing Currie Cup, you have a couple of good seasons, and then you get the call up to go to the Cheetahs, who are in a bit of a strange scenario at the moment, not playing in the URC. You used to play in sort of the Pro 16, but have been extended an invite and are playing in the EPCR Challenge Cup, which you guys are doing very well in. And I suppose another step up, isn't it? And all of a sudden you're going from players who are trying to make it to playing next to a Ruan Pinot, for example, a France Sustain. You play players who've won World Cups. What's it like suddenly going from that kind of environment of players who are trying to make it to an environment where there are players who have made it, and yet there's still that couple more steps. But now all of a sudden it's a whole different environment. You're going overseas playing games, for example. What was that sort of step up like?
Well, for me it was almost part of a dream come true. So a lot of people probably don't know this. I actually was born and grew up as a Cheetah supporter. So it was getting the call to come join the Cheetahs was actually blew my mind. And then starting, like you said, playing against with Ruan Pinot and France Sustain. It's you just learn so much from them, and I think it just gives you that extra bit of a boost, if I can put it like that, just to try and play better, be a better teammate, leader, trying to bring the best out of you in that type of way. So it's incredible what having a player like that, and different, better team environment, and what it can do to you as a player. So it definitely,
So, I mean, you mentioned those two players, and I'd like to sort of just follow on to that. I mean, those players have played at it doesn't get any higher. You sort of start to think after you've been playing fresh rugby for 7-8 years. How much more is there to learn? But what is it when you go to these sort of this environment with these guys who have played there? How much more can they teach, and what is it that they convey and the way they go about it that makes them so special?
It's just, I think, experience, like the experience they have, calmness in any type of situation in the game. Like when you're playing overseas, you kind of feel also like overwhelmed. We have a lot of players that you also get a lot of players that haven't played at that level yet, and suddenly you're playing against Toulon, you're playing against. I think they've probably got 6 World Cup stars in their team, even if it's not more. Sergio Parisa and it's having those players next to you, and just even if it's a small thing like, hey, don't worry about it. Let's just be calm, take a breath, do your next job, whatever it is. Small moments like that. It just. I don't know, just it brings the calmness into you. Just know put you on your way. That no, let's just work on doing the next thing better and better. And yeah.
So you mentioned something like playing like a Sergio Parisi, for example, and playing when you go, especially now in the Challenge Cup, and you play against some top quality sides. Are there moments where, I wouldn't say starstruck, but you sort of, you kind of run to the field, you kind of look up, and all of a sudden you see, these superstars that you watch on TV and stuff like that. And does it sometimes almost be quite intimidating to sit there saying, I can't actually believe I'm here about to take you on for the next sort of 80 minutes?
It's definitely. You sit in not in the close. Well, obviously you read the team list and you see the names, whatever, and then warm up comes. You walk out of the cloaks. You have a glance over the other side of the field, and you see, wow, there's like I said, Sergio Parisi, and looking there. Okay, this is the guy I need to compete with now. I don't know. Then suddenly warm up's over. You get into the cloaks when you just before you head out on the field. You standing next to him in the tunnel, and then now you know this is the moment you're heading off. And I think then from then on, it just I wouldn't say like if that moment comes and you sort of go into an autopilot, like the adrenaline just takes over, and this is do or die now. You need to. Obviously you have your job and your goals and set out whatever you've got your game plan, and then you just follow that, follow your game plan, follow the structure you need to follow for the set out moment or set out for the game, and then like I said, sort of you go on autopilot. You know you need to do this every moment as its time as its moment on the field that you need to execute, and basically you lose focus of whatever who you're playing against. You just focus on your job you need to do.
So I
really enjoy that. Get lost in that.
Yeah, that idea of autopilot, kind of once the whistle goes, it's kind of just another rugby game. It doesn't really matter who you sort of play against. But let's talk a little about the Cheetahs, because as I mentioned earlier, very interesting scenario. They had a tough couple of years. Obviously, winning the Currie Cup last year was phenomenal, and I'm sure must rank as one of your sort of the highlights in your career. Let's actually talk about that a little bit. Winning the Currie Cup, a lot of people talk about the fact that it's changed so much over the years and stuff like that. But I mean, the oldest domestic competition in the world. Just what is that feeling of getting the mug, holding the trophy, winning? What a lot of us grew up thinking was like the best trophy to win. What was that moment like? Was that one of those sort of like all the hard yards, the route you took and everything all becomes worth it when you kind of sit there lifting that trophy?
Yeah, it definitely was. If you can take it back to year before that, it was my first almost chance to play then in a Currie Cup final, semi-final. Then got injured. So this year or last year was definitely kind of not a redemption, but just getting that delayed. Kind of a prize for what you've been working for 2 years now. So it was definitely like such a sweet feeling. Obviously dreamt of winning a Currie Cup. When that final whistle went and lifting the cup, I think that a lot of people don't find the words to describe it. Actually, I don't have my English vocabulary. I don't have enough words in my English vocabulary to give you the correct elation that I had for that. Yeah. It was definitely the highest point in my career, this far. And
Well, hopefully, I like the this far thing. Hopefully, plenty more to go. And also, obviously, there's the whole trend that when the Cheetahs win the Currie Cup, the Boks win the World Cup. So we appreciate you guys putting the good omen out there.
Haven't proved it wrong yet.
Yeah, exactly. So in a couple of years' time, you're still the Cheetahs. We know what we're all expecting from you. But so now EPCR. Let's talk a little bit about how difficult this is as a competition, given the fact that you're not playing regular rugby, that you're having to find additional sort of games. For example, there's the whole Toyota Challenge, which I think has been a nice addition to be able to play levels at a high game. But I mean, for example, you played your last game in, I think it was January, and now your next game is in April, and you're going into a playoff game. So, and all the other teams are kind of ramping up the business end of the season. They're kind of tying up their domestic leagues. They're competing quarterfinals, finals. You're not in that situation. How do you guys get that balance right? And how do you manage to replicate the closest thing to that sort of match level. So by the time you get
Readiness,
to, I think, by the time you get to that playoff game, I think last 16 game in April, that you're ready.
Well, like you said, it is tough. The EPCR isn't. We're not at a. How can I say? Like you said, the other teams they playing URC top 14, English Premiership. They're playing all that type of competitions in between. They're playing at that competitive level the entire way. We have to go back now and play. Like warm-up games, for instance. So next we're going to be playing a warm-up game. And then we're playing SA Cup. So the SA Cup is basically our preparation for the game against Clermont. So we're playing, I think, Welland Cavaliers, we're playing Leopards. It's not at the same level. So unfortunately, so we don't have that type of competitive games and to get us ready for that, but we have to train. We have to train at a higher level then. So that requires us to train at a higher level. Do more contact training. Do more game plan at a higher intensity. And this heat in Bloemfontein, it's not easy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So we definitely riding uphill. So it's definitely tough. But at the end of the day, we need to do it. As I say, success is never easy. So if we have to prove, the other SA Rugby or EPCR or whatever we need to prove wrong, that we need to be at a bigger competition or have better, like being included in a type of URC or whichever. We're gonna have to grind it out and like take the high road, the not easy road. Like we're gonna have to.
Yeah, well, I think as someone who's never taken the easy road, I think that's a very good point. So you talk about the challenge and stuff like that, and obviously this is always quite interesting when you sort of speak to somebody who's played at different levels and stuff like that. But people talk about the challenges of being a professional rugby player, and I want to talk about your partnership with NPL, who are making this possible, and they are partners for the Varsity Cup, and they're obviously giving a lot of support to a lot of athletes across the country to make sure that they are sort of making their dreams come true. Can you just talk a little bit about your sort of partnership, your relationship with them, and kind of the role they play in your sort of everyday sort of preparation and everyday life as a rugby player?
So I joined NPL. It's almost been 2 years now. I think we're in the second year now, it's been fantastic for me. Obviously, they've just been growing from strength to strength, and the type of like collaboration you have with them, like they almost treat you like a family, like like I said, they've even joined the Cheetahs now. So it's for me it's just like this sweet, I don't know how to say this now. It's just been it's been making me so happy that I can't explain it now. Sorry, So having them in my corner was just made me feel like every gym session, every training session, have your supplements ready. Just trying to get the best out of every workout. And I think people underestimate the amount, what supplements do like impact a rugby player and a professional sports person. So, like every day's recovery, getting ready, making sure you're ready for the next session. And I mean, I think NPL drives that with the type of supplements they have. I mean, for me personally, it's like every like before sessions, you've got your pre-workout, you've got everything you do. In between, you've got your intros, your BCAs that you work with, and then when you do 3-4 sessions a day, like from morning to afternoon. You need every bit of it to get you through the day, through the week, and afterwards recovery and everything. So obviously that's you've got your nutrition, you need to eat a lot, whatever, but you need that extra bit of supplementation that you need for every workout and every day's training sessions.
Yeah, so especially when you're training in the freestyle and Bloom, you need all the help you can get.
Hydrate, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, and then just to finish off, so currently you obviously got the Claremont game in the horizon, but what are sort of some of your personal goals and sort of some of the personal ambitions for the next few years? You know, what you know, when you sit at the beginning of the year saying this is what I want to achieve in the year, what sort of makes that kind of list?
I've actually obviously everyone's got a dream to play even more and better yourself, even better and even more. So yeah, for me it's just getting the most out of myself at the moment. So trying to get into a bigger competition, URC, and playing more regularly against like your higher opponents, like playing against international players, playing against regular URC players. Like at the moment, that is the bar, and that's the level you need to train at and play at to become a Springbok player, to become an international player. So at the moment, it's just by getting yourself into a regular international competition and competing at that level and thriving at that level. I think that is the goal at the moment for any player in my position at the moment. So yeah, just being the most competitive that you can be at the moment, and driving that.
So you mentioned obviously the big sort of end goal for any rugby player is to play Springboks, for example, any South African rugby player. We've recently obviously had the alignment camp being announced, and quite surprisingly, Minus van der Merwe being called up, the only Cheetahs player. How much does that mean to you guys as a squad, knowing that the Springbok coaching staff are watching the Cheetahs and that they're a genuine stepway to the Springbok rugby, that you can make it to the Springboks via the Cheetahs? Obviously, he hasn't quite gotten to that final stage yet, but the fact that he's obviously on the radar, does that kind of suddenly give you a bit of thought, well, maybe I'm also on the radar, or at the very least that they're watching me?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It definitely gives you that bit of extra. You sort of starting to get under the spotlight, or whatever you can say. So it gives you that extra bit of drive, and like I said, if you get the boost to play more regularly in a international or a better competition, I think that you'll see a lot more Cheetah players maybe getting called up or whatever. So yeah, it does give you a bit of a boost, knowing that they're starting to look this way. So I think for us at this moment is just to keep on giving them things to see, if I can put it like that.
No, brilliant, perfect. Well, Ken, thank you so much for your time, and all the best for the upcoming season. We do cover the EPCR, so looking forward to covering all the Cheetahs games, and hopefully we'll be talking about it, extend the campaign beyond just the 6th of April. So all the best with Claremont as well as the Currie Cup, maybe back-to-back champions, never know. And hopefully see you on the side of the rugby field soon. But best of luck for the season to come.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
Cool. To everybody else watching, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. We have lots more interviews and stuff like that, lots more stories to tell here on Forever Sports. So make sure you join the community so that you can be the first to get to know about it. But my name is Steve, and we'll see you guys all very, very soon.